So I thought I'd shoot out a quick video on Meshtastic misconceptions, and today's misconception is Meshtastic isn't a phone. There's a couple of really well-produced videos by a gentleman named Data Slayer out here on YouTube. Really nicely done. All his B-rolls and the narrations and all that stuff is really good, and the content of those videos is actually on point. But I think that there's this statement made in the titles and the thumbnail that leads people to believe that the Meshtastic does things that your phone will do. And it does to a point, but there's a lot of caveats that I think really beginners, really new folks into Meshtastic will just not be able to appreciate. The first is that it doesn't replace heavy data usage like the internet on your phone. It just doesn't do that. And the reason is Meshtastic is based on something called long range, or LoRa as we call it. The LoRa was created as an Internet of Things, or IoT, way of transmitting information and data. And the big idea was, what if all your appliances had some kind of a Internet of Things capability, that your refrigerator could tell you that you were out of milk, that different devices could tell you, like your remote control on your TV could tell you, hey, my battery is critically low and it's going to need to be replaced. Well, you could do that over this small data blurb, a little squirt of data as it's called, and that would tell you sensor data. Very light data. The good news with LoRa is that at 915 megahertz and the way that it transmits data, repeating sometimes, wide bandwidth, all that stuff, it's pretty reliable. And further, you can get it to go pretty long range. The world record for a LoRa transmission and Meshtastic is over 100 kilometers. I think it might even be over 200 kilometers at this point. Anyway, that's a very specific way of making a contact. Somebody's like at a high vantage point, or both people at a high vantage point, and shooting across in open air because it's line of sight. But anyway, I digress. So it's because of this reliable communication method that LoRa brings to the table that Meshtastic is successful in being able to mesh devices together, right? LoRa also provides a meshing capability. And what mesh does is, if you had 4 units, and unit 1 can't talk to unit 4, but you have unit 2 and 3 in the middle, they can hop the squirts of data through to 4 and 1, and they can all talk to each other. This is advantageous if you have like a larger home and you needed to send IoT information across to some kind of an internet device or a router or whatever, that then went to some kind of a service system or a website that would log that your milk, or you were out of milk in your refrigerator, right? So, okay, big data's out, right? Because you don't have cell towers, you don't have the infrastructure, and even if you put up tons of Meshtastics, you're not going to speed up how quickly or how much data, the data bandwidth that it can send. Okay, so that's out of the picture. Images and voice are also not a part of Meshtastic. It's not something you do because, again, voice, like voice over IP, VoIP, would not be wide enough bandwidth over Meshtastic to do it. Further, it would hog the bandwidth available to such a degree you wouldn't be able to do anything other than push this audio data, and even then it would be pretty compressed because, again, not much data you're able to transmit. So you can't do that either. And at least now images are not a thing. That's a possibility, but at the same time it's one of those, do we really need that? Probably not. So what it does do is it reliably sends text messages. Text messages that can be encrypted. You can have encrypted channels that allow for some of the nodes to have the encrypted channel and be able to communicate in a somewhat anonymous way. Now, when you create a mesh, right? So let's say you had 100 nodes throughout your city. You and your friends and community members, 100 different people all put up a mesh. Let's take this a step further. Let's say 50 of them put up meshes at a high vantage point, and then they also personally had a small communicator device that could mesh to that, like, let's call it a repeater on their roof. So hey, that's actually pretty nicely fleshed out because all those high vantage point stations will be able to communicate in more of an open air space to be able to bridge the network together. And then their little communicators would be able to hop onto those higher based stations and be able to send their messages that way. Super advantageous, because Meshtastic offers something that I think is a really fundamental value, but can be added to, and that's that primary channel concept. So if you leave a Meshtastic in default, it has a primary channel of 0, right? 0 is non-encrypted. It's just there for moving packets. So when you send an encrypted message, it will go out over the primary channel, but then make it into the encrypted channel, which then can be used. So you can route all this data all over the place, but the encryptedness of the packets won't be compromised, even though it's going over the normal mesh that you've created, this 100 nodes, with 50 of them being at a high vantage point. So that allows for a really great way to communicate, although it is in text message, right? So for some of you, this is like, oh, this isn't going to work, but I want you to consider that this is asymmetric. So if you were in a situation where, let's say you're responding to a disaster. Let's use Helene, for example, right? Everybody understands Hurricane Helene. There's a lot of work that those people were doing, a lot of sweat equity to bring their communities back in line. I think K4SWL was saying they spent days with a chainsaw in his hand carving up wood on the road and other detritus to clear just getting in and out of his one road that he had, where he was miles back in the back of this long country road. So when you're busy doing that, you may not be looking at your little communicating device, but you may be getting messages that you need to reply to, you need to respond to. And if there's no cell phones and there's no emails and there's no phone calls, and maybe you have a two-way radio on you, like a ham radio or GMRS or whatever, for immediate voice messages or voice contacts that have to be made, there's a number of asymmetric type messages that you might not need to immediately reply to. And the novelty of being able to get something while you're not monitoring it and then being able to review that at the end of the day when you've got the time to take care of it is actually a really novel thing to do. Further, Meshtastic does do location transmit broadcasting. So if you wanted someone to know where you were at all times, Meshtastic can help facilitate that, assuming you have a node, a mesh that's good enough to be able to transmit that information out to numerous people. So that's really helpful as well. But that's kind of the meat and potatoes of Meshtastic. That's its primary function. And yeah, you can have maybe a sensor of some kind, like a perimeter sensor. So let's say you had a little compound or whatever, or you had like a trail camera or a trail sensor or something that would break a beam of light. You could actually pass that over Meshtastic as well as sensor data, and that's something that could be useful to some folks. That's more of a newer thing that Meshtastic does, but yeah, that's a really good one. Now, in my last video talking about the Muzzy works, I said I would go and give you a bit of information on the best ways to set up your Meshtastic. And I did that by talking about client only, no repeat, or client without the rebroadcast transmission ability. So if we go back to our concept of the 100 nodes and 50 of them at a high vantage point, we want the 50 high vantage point boys to be the ones that are retransmitting packets, but we want the client nodes, the one that we keep on us, we want those client no retransmit, no sending of packets, no retransmitting of anything. That keeps the noise of all these LoRa squirts going off to a minimum, and just the most effective transmitters, the ones that are at high vantage point. Second, I've talked about it in a ton of other videos, but long fast, short fast, all these different modes of communication are really not to be confused with like super long range, because you still will have long range regardless of which mode of operation you're using if you are at a high vantage point with a clear line of sight. The downside of using long fast or long or short fast or plus or minus this, that, or the other, when you get into a congested environment, so our 100 nodes, if you have all of them set to long fast, the long nature of that mode of operation will also somewhat congest the network. And so you should consider using maybe short, fast on your nodes, your portable nodes that you carry with you, and then maybe have a couple of the repeaters, maybe the ones at the highest vantage point, maybe the ones towards the middle of the community that can see the most nodes, maybe have those guys doing long fast, and then the rest of them keep them kind of short fast, right? So sculpt the network, as we would say, is a networking term, a little bit based off of the topology of the placement of these nodes, particularly the repeaters, again, at a higher vantage point. I'm repeating that. I hope you pick up why that's important. The more clear line of sight that any of these nodes have, the better they're going to function. So just wanted to dispel a myth. I don't think Data Slayer is necessarily doing anything wrong. At the same time, I think that it is a bit of a disservice to people who really don't understand Meshtastic, that they will take that and think that this is going to replace their cell phone, and it absolutely will not do that. So if you made it this far, Meshtastic is something for text messaging in a robust, reliable way within line of sight. You're not really going to get beyond line of sight capability unless you leverage the internet to do it, which to me takes away the novelty of having this as kind of an off-grid, a no service required solution for communication. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but tell me below in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and check out the rest of my videos I've done on Meshtastic, and hopefully get you interested in it, because it is a actually pretty novel way of communicating, particularly during a disaster or an emergency, in an asynchronous way, which I think is very helpful for people who actually have to live and deal with a disaster. I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. Thank you so much for watching. 73.